I'm traveling Vietnam's far northeast, a land of quiet villages and meals you won't find anywhere else. These borderlands with China hide incredible food traditions few people ever see. And so while the goal of this trip was to see a giant waterfall dividing China and Vietnam, it's actually the flavors along the way that steal the spotlight. In the first stop of the day, we are visiting an ancient Hmong king's palace. My friends are calling me inside, but I'm totally distracted by this lady outside frying up something golden that smells incredible. Locals call this Ban Gioc, a simple street snack made from glutinous rice flour, deep fried until golden.
How much?
10 pounds.
One of the fritters that I've not tried so far is this kind of ball which has got sesame seed on the top. Oh, it's sticky. Sticky and gooey, but not really sweet. It's very yummy. Lots of people seem to be buying this particular fried snack. Peanuts inside, crushed peanuts. Kind of warms you up in the cold weather.
Before I tell you the story of how I snuck uninvited into the palace kitchen and somehow ended up with a slice of pork in hand, let me explain what this place actually is.
Walking up the steps, you get into the Hmong King Palace, and this whole region is right at the center of the golden triangle of opium trade between Myanmar, the Yunnan province of China, and Indochina. And this guy who was a rich merchant and gained a big fortune from opium trade built this huge mansion, and somehow he named himself a king. And he was considered by many like a very important person, but it wasn't really a king in a traditional sense.
Designed with Chinese architectural influence and built using local stone and wood, the palace has got 64 rooms, courtyards and watchtowers, all once guarded by Hmong soldiers.
Look at this corridor.
For what was once a rich man's house, it's actually a bit unimpressive. Everything's built in wood and it doesn't really give off that opulent royal vibe you might expect. But I guess this is just how a wealthy home looked a few hundred years ago in this remote borderlands. Simple, functional and rooted in the landscape.
I'm not entirely sure where I ended up, but inside the palace there is this kind of live kitchen. I feel like an intruder in this kitchen because there are no tourists, only local people. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be here.
A small army of laborious hands crafting what looks like the grandest Chinese-Vietnamese banquet I've seen on this entire trip. Mountains of glistening rice, the most succulent, golden-skinned chicken I've ever laid eyes on. Giant tiger prawns piled high, still steaming, and bubbly pans filled with mysterious, unlabeled wonders. This is a private gathering and I don't belong here. But I'm hoping, just maybe, these kind villagers might take pity on this hungry outsider and slide over a plate.
Oh, it's pork.
This Hmong lady kindly, she gave us a taste of this kind of pork soup. And this white thing must be either tofu or pork, I don't know. Tofu.
Yeah, tofu.
It's tofu. It's tofu in a pork soup. Very super soft.
I'm certainly grateful for the soup, but I'd be lying if I said my eyes weren't drifting again and again to those glistening slices of pork belly. They were oozing juices from every edge, like they've been slow cooked in a secret that's older than the palace itself.
And I've also been allowed to try some of this very fatty pork belly slice, which you kind of dip into the salt. Oh, that's a pig trotter. That's a whole pig trotter. Oh, this pork is amazing. Oh, this pork is amazing. Pig leg heaven. I wish you could stop and eat here, but sadly we're gonna move on.
Along the Vietnam-China border, one of the smartest ways to taste real borderland cuisine is just to pull over at a roadside restaurant. It's what most riders on the Ha Giang loop do. A quick stop to refuel and reset with a hot meal. We thought it was worth trying a few dishes, and as always, it's the meat that steals the show.
I'd say I'm pleasantly surprised by the look of this food. Everything looks really fresh, especially this pork.
These pork ribs came out glistening, tender and soaked in a deep sticky sauce. The flavor had that unmistakable Chinese barbecue depth, soy, sugar, a touch of 5-spice, giving a sweet, savory and slightly smoky taste, like something red braised in a Yunnanese kitchen. That's the magic of food in these borderlands. You can taste the overlap. Recipes passed across mountain paths and provincial kitchens, evolving on both sides of the border until they become something entirely their own.
Really fatty actually, slightly sweet. You've got some nice kind of fat component in it, which make them really juicy and tasty. Look at this magic. In terms of sauces, we've got this kind of garlicky and chili sauce, fish sauce based, which you can use to dip your spring rolls, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Beautiful fried spring rolls. Crispy on the outside, we've got this kind of veggies inside, I think carrots, onion, cilantro, garlic bits maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure what else. I'll try this in that chili sauce next.
Next we got a stir fried chicken with tomatoes, onions, bell peppers and a sprinkle of sesame seeds. A dish that leans into that sweet and sour territory with a tomato tinge. It's got that home cooked food vibe, but I'll be honest, it looked better than it tasted. A little too sweet and not quite enough depth to keep me going for another bite.
I've got some omelette here, spiced with black pepper and greens, probably cilantro.
Now, as good foreigners, we got to show some appreciation for the greens, even if I would actually eat meat all day.
Similar to the kangkong I always have in Asia, stir fried in oyster sauce and garlic. Yeah, morning glory. We also have a little bit of pumpkin soup, which I also want to try. There are big chunks of pumpkin. I wonder if there is some turmeric in there. Oh yeah, just turmeric and carrots as well in there. The winner of the meal today at lunchtime is definitely this pork rib. There's not necessarily a lot of meat in them, but that little bit of meat that's in there, it's fatty, it's juicy, and tastes absolutely fantastic.
I came all this way to explore life at the Vietnam-China border. Might as well see the actual border, right? So I pushed my driver to take me there, up into a tiny mountain village, risking disturbing the quiet rhythm of life just to satisfy my tourist itch. Behind someone's house, we slip down a narrow dirt path. Only a few hundred meters, but we have already entered a strange space-time limbo.
1419 is Vietnam. Check this.
My phone says Vietnam. My friend's clock ticks on China time. Then we see it. The fence. The real border. Okay, no need to test international diplomacy today. But hold on, I spot a green river glistening below. That surely will get me even closer to the border, right? Mission accomplished. I reward myself with a pork sausage. Half Chinese, half Vietnamese, I guess. Entirely deserved. It's been a long day trying to get a foot into China from the Vietnam side. It's time to rest. Our mountain homestay is a place where time slows down and silence wraps around you. As the night begins to fall, I feel the urge to do what I do best. Sneak into the kitchen and get a few early bites before anyone else even gets a chance. And before we know it, the table is overflowing with dishes bursting in color and variety. The place comes alive.
It's a beautiful spread of dishes, I would say vegetarian heavy. Boiled potatoes with tomato. We've got some veggies. We got some pumpkin, two types of pork. I think this is kind of fried pork with curry leaves or lime leaves, and then we've got the other pork there. I think it's grilled pork.
The way you eat in these parts of northern Vietnam is by having your own bowl of white rice, and from there you pick and choose, adding a piece of meat, a bit of vegetables, a spoonful of soup.
We'll try some of this chicken, small bits that are crunchy. Lots of that lemon leaves flavor, and it's kind of good to dip into the fish sauce. You've got some duck as well in this table. Yeah, it tastes very natural. Meat is a bit chewy, it's like a village duck.
Maybe it's the joy of being far from everything familiar, but even the plainest ingredients here taste better than they have any right to.
I have no idea what they put into this pumpkin. It's nothing like the one I've used to have in Italy. I used to hate pumpkin as a kid because it was just like tasteless for me. But this one is sweet, creamy, kind of starchy.
As more dishes squeeze onto the crowded table, the joyful chaos feels strangely familiar. Like home, just in a different language. It's the kind of comfort you don't need to translate.
Easy rice. Oh.
But make no mistake, saying no to these people is pointless. Your bowl will be filled again and again, whether you're ready or not.
Purple rice and omelette. And we're gonna have a cheers again with the happiness liquid.
Anh em ơi! Một, hai, ba, go! Một, hai, ba, go! Hai, ba, go! Hai, ba, go! Hai, ba, uống! Hai, ba, uống! Cheers!
Waking up in the mountains of northern Vietnam feels like stepping into a painting. The sun is soft and golden, the air is crisp and clean, and from the homestay kitchen, a scent of breakfast drifting through the quiet morning. Today will be a long one, we are getting even closer to our final destination. A majestic waterfall marking the border with China, where Vietnamese and Chinese visitors quietly observe each other across the divide of their nations. It's going to be a long drive, and a good breakfast is essential. I catch my rider preparing a cup of Vietnamese coffee, with that unmistakable sweet, hearty and rich aroma. Vietnamese coffee is made using a small metal filter. Ground coffee goes into the filter, which is placed on top of a glass. Hot water is poured in slowly, and the coffee begins to drip into a waiting pool of thick, sweet condensed milk. It's a process that you don't want to rush. When it's ready, the two layers are stirred together into something smooth, bold and deeply comforting.
Not very sure how to use this combination of pancakes and eggs. I suppose I'm gonna put the egg into the pancake itself. And I think I'm gonna wrap it like a tortilla or something.
Alright, I know what you're thinking. Pancakes and eggs? In Vietnam? Well, the truth is, it's been so long here in Vietnam, I'm starting to miss Western comfort food. But don't worry, we are about to jump on the motorbikes and I've got big food hunting plans for the day. It's impossible to predict what culinary secrets lie hidden in these remote border towns. You would have had to ride these winding roads 1,000 times to know exactly where to stop. Because the true gems just look like any other family home along the roadside. Luckily, I've got the right man for the job. He signals this is the place. A bubbling hotpot reaches the table. A whole river fish, its precious eggs, meaty cuts of village chicken, wild herbs gathered from the hills. This is borderland cuisine at its finest. To begin the feast, there is a tradition. The fish eggs come first, a rare delicacy, cherished like gold in these parts.
Okay, enjoy your meal.
Bon appetit. The fish eggs are absolutely one of the most interesting things of this dish. It's got kind of a grainy texture and they're not fishy at all. It's very mild.
Alright, it's time to build my own bowl of all this goodness. Definitely grabbing some of that muscular village chicken, then a few greens, just so I can feel better about my eating habits. And of course a piece of fish, with that beautiful gelatinous skin still attached.
And I think I'm gonna go with the fish skin first. Yummy. Very delicate flavor, melts in your mouth. Let's try a little bit of the chicken. This chicken has got a very thick skin, which I don't mind at all. Kind of village kind of chicken, man. Fresh and hard texture, a bit chewy, but very flavorful. This soup is also amazing. Tastes very gingery. In fact, you can see some ginger roots in there. Wow. This fish has got like so much flesh in it. It's just I think it may be at least a couple of kilos, and meat looks extremely tender. Just melt the salt.
Nếu tao thích.
Okay, now for the real local experience. They tell me that the next step is to cook these instant noodles right into the bubbling hot pot. You can do it in your own bowl or straight into the main pot. Just 2 minutes and they are ready. Perfect with a chunk of that flaky river fish. But once again, I get corrected. Of course, before tasting you have to add the shrimp seasoning and the chili oil.
There we go.
My mouth is so confused and excited at the same time. Shrimp, chicken and fish flavors together. It really shouldn't work, but somehow it does.
There's the small sauce on the side. It's pink salt mixed with chili, and you're supposed to squeeze a little bit of lime in there and kind of dip your piece of fish. The lime flavor coupled with the fish sets it to another level.
This is getting ridiculous. More soups keeps going in, and now they're adding even more chicken. It's like they're trying their absolute best to keep you seated no matter what. There's no rush here. It's 4 p.m. and the meal goes on.
Passing through the village, you could have seen chicken crossing the road and like that. This chicken tastes like it's not been making a lot of kilometers to reach our table. This chicken is from the village, I can promise you.
With the feast finally over, we are back on the road, getting closer to our stop for the night, a remote mountain village called Khuoi, nestled right by the Chinese border. This part of Vietnam is full of geographical wonders, so we do a short detour into a limestone cave. Inside, it's like stepping into another world. Towering stalactite and stalagmites shaped over millions of years, rising and falling like ancient sculptures. You can hear the gentle sound of water echoing through the cave, streams trickling through the rocks, a small underground river formed from melting mountain ice. Some formations glisten like they've been dusted with diamonds. I quickly learned that I shouldn't touch them, and I shouldn't attempt to read these Vietnamese info boards either.
Tan loi dit hep. Why is it? That was perfect pronunciation.
As we step out of the cave, we are greeted by a beautiful view of the Khuoi village. This little patch of paradise will host me for my final night in Vietnam. Life here feels untouched, simple, grounded. People move at their own pace, no rush, no noise, just presence. I feel something stirring in my chest. The time is ticking, and the journey is wrapping up. This Vietnam adventure is almost over, and honestly, I don't want it to end. But I'd better make the most of the time I've left, and I've got a feeling something good is cooking in town tonight.
Em hãy không lấy lâu, nhà trên đây thôi. Tên gì anh ơi?
The smell of roasted duck brought me here, in this dark, barely lit road. The Hmong ladies don't say much and they don't even look at you. They already know why I'm here. Without a word, they are chopping up my portion. Perfectly roasted duck, seasoned with herbs I can't name. Its skin glistening under the streetlight. I got here just in time. It's the last duck of the evening, and it's mine.
We come back to the homestay. I've brought with me the packet of roasted duck, which I think is gonna become part of our dinner tonight here at the homestay. And actually we can open up this roasted duck as a kind of an appetizer before the complete dinner is ready. Looks like we've got some greens, a small lime and a packet with sauce. Probably better to eat it now that's kind of warm. I'm just gonna grab that drumstick. Oh, that drumstick is mine. Without putting any sauce, it looks juicy. This duck, there's a layer of fat between the skin and the meat underneath. And it's also kind of aromatic. You could see when she was sliding, there was herbs and seasoning inside. Oh my god. You can actually see on the top, I don't know if it's black pepper or it's kind of spice powder or something, like maybe kind of roasted herbs over it. I believe this is kind of gravy of the duck. Okay, this is nice and drenched. Vinegary black pepper fish sauce makes the already aromatic duck even better.
I'm proud of this duck. I mean, I basically hunted it down myself. But now the table is filling up with even more incredible food. Definitely more than my stomach knows how to handle tonight. I probably won't finish everything, and that's okay. Tonight isn't about polishing off plates. It's about the company, the quiet hum of this mountain village, somewhere far between China and Vietnam, and the fizz of a cold local beer. If there is one thing that I'm sure about, is that I'll go to sleep full and happy.
là một bao đỗ nữa xong mang lên cho ông Hiền một cái đấy.
Không phải là một lon con ạ.
I woke up thinking all I needed was a strong coffee, but instead a giant bowl of noodles lands in front of me. Gosh, I still got beer swirling in my stomach. I'm somewhat hungover and not entirely ready to face the day.
Good morning from Ha Giang. Oh no, this is not Ha Giang.
No, from Cao Bang.
Good morning, my friend. Day 5 of this Ha Giang motorbike tour, which started in Ha Giang, but we are very far right now. I had asked. Oh yeah, thank you.
In all fairness, this bowl of pho was in my plans. I wanted to try this Chinese influenced version of pho, and let me tell you, it's nothing like your standard bowl. Somehow, the hunger finds its way back.
It does look amazing with these big pieces of pork belly.
Ôm để lấy tiền đấy.
Look at that. Pork belly looks amazing, and we have put some spring onions in there, as well as some spicy bamboo shoots.
And so this is it. The last stop on this whole journey, the Ban Gioc Waterfall. This was the reason I planned this trip in the first place. I really wanted to come all the way up here to the far northeast of Vietnam to see this place with my own eyes. A waterfall that marks the border between two countries, Vietnam on one side, China just across the water. It feels surreal to stand here after so many hours on the road. This waterfall is huge, one of the biggest in Southeast Asia. It's split across several tiers, with water crashing down through layers of rock and jungle. Despite its beauty, it's a bit under the radar, with only 70,000 people visiting each year, mostly domestic tourists. And weirdly, I almost forgot this place was the goal. Because over the past days, everything else started to matter more. The people I met, the food, the mountain roads, the quiet villages. That's what really stuck with me. This trip was like another of those reminders that life is not about a destination, and the enjoyment actually happens on the way. I don't know when or if I'll ever make it back to Vietnam, but these remote lands, they'll stay with me for a very long time.